just pretend I'm staring into the abyss.
The stove is still on and you forgot about it.
Julia, when the Lions were still in their glory days, a lot of people still remember them for their champagne rugby that they played. But people kind of forget that you guys had a solid, tied five. Are these some of the fundamentals you've been brought back to remind the guys?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I've been brought back for it, but it is something that we do pride ourselves in. I think set piece is if you look at any championship team over there, sorry about that, every championship team over the years, you have to have a good set piece. Your forwards have to operate. Coach Swice always used to say, we move the piano and the backs will play the piano. So yeah, definitely a big focus point for us is the set piece.
And with this crop of players, are you happy with what you have to work with?
Yeah, I think we actually have a big squad to train with for now, which is lacquer. We didn't have that last year. And we actually got a couple of good guys in. Obviously, we lost a couple of players as well after last season. But really happy. I think it was lucky to have a pre-season. The guys got to bond a little bit better. We got good training time into the guys, and we're just waiting for the season now. You don't know what to expect until you see the games again. So we had the one warm-up game, but we can't wait for the season to see where we are at.
On paper, the Bulls have a massive pack, a very experienced pack. How have you kept the guys' nerves down?
Yeah, I think in the past we struggled against SA backs, just in general. But I think for us is to get the guys confidence and to let them believe in themselves. Obviously, South Africans, you know the guys. They've played against these guys forever. So it's different than playing against foreign guys. But for us, it's just to get the guys confident. And if we do our job, the rest will look after itself.
Coach Cash did say last year that you mentioned the mental block, but he did mention in a few press conferences that there was a bit of a mental block when it came to playing the South African teams, as the result to show you only won 1 from 8. How have you guys actually dealt with those games? Because outside of the South African games, the European teams you found to be far more easy to deal with.
It's interesting. We also did some delving to find out why. But I think the big thing is if you focus on yourself, you don't worry too much about the opponent, so it doesn't matter who it is. Where it's natural when it's South African guys, it's guys that you've grown up with, you've played with them, you've played against them. Sorry, the second time. But I think for us it's just to focus on ourselves. I think that's been a massive drive for us, is to focus on ourselves, do what we can do, control the controllables, do that as well as we can.
Coach, like last season there was a bit of frustration every now and then with the way the scrums were officiated. You guys always didn't get the purchase that you necessarily maybe should have.
Thanks for that. You said it, not me.
Yeah, no. Is there have you got? I know you guys have had you had a session with the referees and with the URC. Is there was that discussed, the way that the scrums were being officiated and the breakdowns for that matter?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a bit of a change in that regard?
I think they did have a good session about it, and there was a couple of pointers that they raised. The one thing they brought now into it is the break foot. You would have seen it with the international rugby already, where the hooker is not allowed to move his foot back until on the engage. So I think that'll bring a little bit more stability. And in fairness, I must say it's really tough for a ref, because if I coach the scrums and I stand there, sometimes I also don't know what happened, because you're on the one side, so something happens on the other side, you can't see it. So it is tough to officiate, it really is. I just hope they reward the dominant team most of the time, but it is tough. So I do have empathy for it, but I think they are constantly trying to improve the rules, trying to find new ways to get it better, because I think it's a frustrating part for the fan. And for us, so if there's reset scrums the whole time, it's not like it to watch. So I think it's they are getting better, the refs are getting better, the players are getting better to adapting. So hopefully the brand will improve.
Any new rules or officiating that we must be aware of with the new season? Has that been discussed?
Well, I don't think there's a lot of new rules. I think the breakfoot is the one thing. And then the drives they have, we've seen now with the defensive breakdowns, the guys have to have hands on the ball. If you go past the ball, you guys would have seen they are tough on that. So I think it's mostly the same rules, just the way they focus. There's always like a couple of focus points at the beginning of the season. So the breakfoot will definitely be one, and then the breakdowns, as always.
And then an update on Jaco Kriel. I see his knee is still strapped, but he was training today.
Yeah, listen, Jaco Kriel, I'm not sure how much is known about it, but he actually had quite a scare with being in hospital a week ago. So he's actually getting stronger as we go, and getting stronger fast, which we are really grateful for. I think he's seeing the specialist tomorrow. I'm not sure if this is my place to say, Sammy, you must help me if it's the doctor's place, but he's getting stronger.
And Willem?
Yeah, Willem, I think is training well. So when I speak to him, he's saying he's taking it day by day. But yeah, it's lucky to see him back on the field. The impact he has with the guys and the influence he has is massive. So it's lucky to have him back here. When he's playing, we're not sure yet. But obviously, he makes a big difference already just being on the training field.
How we did starting a season in September? He did start
Yes,
URC.
wow.
Yeah, you
It's
started away
different, eh?
last year, obviously because of COVID, but you're starting it at home. Whereas at this time of the year, you're generally starting to wind down in season.
Yeah, it's really strange, right? And the temperature is different and everything's different. Eh? So I think once you get into the season again, it just feels like the same old. The temperature is different. We can't wait to get the European guys here in summer. I think it's going to be something for them to adapt to. But for us to go to their winter is also tough. But like you said, the start now, we were in such a rhythm. November, December off, January get your pre-season, February start the season, end the June break, and then you finish your season August. Now it's a different story. So it is something to get adapting to, but it's not as big as you would think.
And lastly, just from me, is Coach Cash said last week that you guys have finally had a decent pre-season,
Yes.
which is probably going to make a massive difference. In which ways does it make a difference?
I think just time together. If you have a new squad, you have new guys coming in. We haven't had with this current squad, I think probably only have a handful of guys that's been through a pre-season with us. So guys came in without a pre-season, so we didn't have time to almost get the team to work together, build the whole thing. So I think that's what he meant by it, and it was now lucky to have decent time with the guys and them having decent time with each other. Yeah. So I think it will make a difference, but for everyone though.
And how much of a role do you think the home ground advantage will play?
Yeah, it always does. I think the Joburg Derby, if you're from the Gauteng Derby, the URC Derby, is a lekker derby. It almost because you stay and you sleep in your own bed. If we play Pretoria, they sleep in their bed, they play here. But I think we're looking forward to play on our end field, and it's nice to open the season with a home game against the local team. So hopefully we'll get some fans out, but it'll be lucky to have that as well. Yeah. Thanks guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Julle sit hier in die